Hey, it's Corey again with Freedom Investing Group. I'm out for another trail run. It's a little warm, so forgive me if I'm huffing and puffing a bit. For today, I'm going to talk about the difference between RVs and, air quotes, mobile homes. All the properties that we've bought have been mobile home parks, or primarily focused on manufactured homes, but we have had a few empty pads that we've been able to bring some good RV tenants into. And so I guess, excuse me, I'm out of breath. The first thing I would say is mobile homes are not really as mobile as you'd think. They're actually homes, houses. And so they're mobile in that you can move them, but you have to pay somebody to move them, and it's a big deal. It's probably in the low 5 figures these days to get something moved. Whereas an RV, someone could just hook up to the back of their truck and drive it off. So what that means is, with, I'll call them manufactured homes, the tenants tend to stay longer. They own the home, they have oftentimes been there for many years, and you're kind of in this owner-to-owner relationship with them where you have a vested interest in making the park nice and making it a nice place to live. So there tends to be less turnover of tenants. And if they sell their home, if they've got equity in it, then if they do leave, they oftentimes will find you a new tenant, which you would obviously run through your screening process and make sure they qualify. Before you would accept that. So that's a benefit. One of the downsides is if someone pulls a manufactured home out, it is not very easy for you to get a new one into the lot. They oftentimes might take a year to order, and they're expensive. Finding used ones, the used home market is very competitive these days. So filling empty lots with used homes is tricky. So RVs are kind of the opposite. The tenants can just pack up and leave at any time. So it's much more like a normal rental that you would do, like an apartment or house or something, on a month-to-month basis. So they're maybe not as long-term of tenants, although they can be. There's many that have lived in places for decades, but it doesn't have to be that way. On the flip side, though, if they do leave, it's easier to bring in a new one. You can just put an ad out, and someone can drive their RV in, and you might have criteria on the RV to make sure it's nice looking and it doesn't make the place look like a dump. But some of the nice new RVs these days are pretty nice. So it can be a good option if you have an empty pad to fill it a little faster. And you can have a few of those in there, and it's still a manufactured home park. You wouldn't want to do too many because then it starts to look more like an RV park, and it's a different asset class. But a lot of mobile home parks have a few RVs in them, and as long as it's just a few, it's not a big deal. Now on the park level, so that's if you're filling a couple homes with RVs. On the park level, RV parks have two different kinds. There's the kind of long-term tenant RV parks that function more like a mobile home park. And then there's the actual like vacation spots where you might come to for the weekend or a week or something, where people are checking in, checking out. So the long-term ones, I have not owned one, but I'm friends with people who have, and I've studied them, and I know people who own them. They function pretty much like a mobile home park, except it's like the move in, move out is a little bit different, right? The tenants aren't as sticky, but it's a little easier to get rid of tenants who don't pay because they're taking their home with them, right? So it's I don't know, some pros and cons there. The resort RV park is a totally different business model. You got to have someone there managing, making sure there's collections. People don't leave in the middle of the night without paying. It's much more similar to like a hotel. So I think you're kind of getting into a totally different business plan if you have the nice ones. They're cool. They look nice, and they look like they'd be fun, but not something that I have delved into and figured out. So anyway, that's a little bit of the difference between mobile homes and RVs. RVs can be nice, easier to get in, but may not last as long. Cheers.